All right, guys. You're dealing with a tough customer. You got a custom job going on, and you just got a customer, man, that don't seem like whatever you can do is gonna make them happy. Let's get into it. Okay, guys, this is Emmett Stallworth again, the Alpha Builder. Guys, if you'd like to donate to this channel, you can hit this. You can hit this right here. Anything that you give will go toward me trying to put out more information about how contractors and how builders who is trying to get started out here. I'm trying to put out information to help you guys stay alive and stay in the game and not get knocked out the game. And one thing that can take you out of this game, guys, is a disgruntled customer. And so what we're going to talk about today, I got a couple of things. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 things that can help you guys in dealing with your customers. Because all it takes is one. All it takes is one lawsuit. And here's the thing. Well, we'll get into it. Because in a lot of cases, a lot of your customers that you're dealing with, they just don't understand construction. And so they come at you. And then the person that actually makes you money is the lawyers. Early morning, get my coffee going. All right, lads, let's jump into this right here, guys. All right. Number one, the first thing I got on my list here is one reasons that you're going to have a problem with a customer. Guys, and when I say customer, you're dealing with a custom job. Custom jobs are the homeowner goes out, they buy the lot, they go get the loan from the bank, they go, they go out and they get quotes from different builders, maybe 2. If they're doing 3, that's probably not good. But in most cases, most of these homeowners, they really need to be trying to find somebody that they can vet and they can pretty much trust for the most part. But they go out, they find the contractor they're going to use. He give them a quote, give them a contract, sign off on the contract. Then the builder starts building. He builds the house, and then throughout the process, there are meetings that are set up to where you meet the customers, make sure you guys are on the same page. Also make sure that budgets and things like that don't get kind of out of control, and you go from there. That's what a custom job is. So one thing that can really hurt you as a builders, and just really listen to this, guys, is lack of preparation for the job. That, guys, you have got to, when you're doing contracts and things like that, and my cameras kind of follow me and stuff, I got to figure out how to turn that off. I just kind of like for it to be still. But guys, when you start a job, the most important thing that you got to get right is that cost. You got to get that cost right, and you have to have realistic expectations throughout that entire process, such as, time frames and things like that. There are certain things, there's going to, in a custom job, there's going to be a lot of things that customer is going to pick, like shower fixtures, light fixtures and things like that. They're going to pick those things, and you got to have that stuff figured out in time, because you got to be able to put that stuff in. One thing that you can do as a builder, guys, is make sure you have clear specifications. Specifications is going to be all the items that you, for the most part, see in the house. Like your trim, your baseboard, your crown molding, the way you wrap your windows. Am I going to wrap them with 3 1/4 inch trim, my door jambs, the height of the doors? Some of those things are going to be on your plans, but a lot of those things are going to be, you're going to have to specify that. And most builders in the production homes, they're going to have in most cases, they're going to have a model home. And the model home is going to have all the specifications and upgrades in that model home so that they can create a clear, they need to, that builder is trying to create a clear expectation of what the specifications are. Now, in my case, I built my own house and I put all the specifications in my house. So typically what I do is if I have a potential customer or custom home, I invite them to my house and we can walk through my house and I can show them the specifications. But you need to also have it written. It needs to be on some type of on your contract. Most software that you have, you can put the specifications on the software. On the software that I use, it actually, you can just sit here and every time you do another house, you can increase or update those specifications. I haven't done a good job at it, but you can actually do that. And then that way, at the end of the day, it's all on your contract. And then if there's any kind of discrepancy toward the end or in the middle of the construction process, then you can point back and you can say, hey, here it is right here. And that's why, guys, that's another reason I don't try to rush my customers in signing the contract. I mean, I don't care if you look at the contract for 2 or 3 weeks. It doesn't matter to me. That give them time to go ahead and read those specifications, guys. But builders, you got to have your specifications, and you have to have your quote, and you have to have your allowances and things like that. All that stuff needs to really be outlined on the front end. So on the front end, builders, you have to over prepare that. Whatever you're gonna do, you have to prepare that from top to bottom. You got to spend a little bit more time on preparation. That's critical. I got something right here. Yeah, and explaining things. You got to spend more time on that. Explain how the warranty process works. Explain how the construction, the entire job is gonna move. Explain when you need to have clear dates, guys. You really need to have dates on, especially selections of fixtures and things like that. These are the dates you need to have this done. And so if you don't have these things, I mean, you guys are going to get, there's going to be a fork in the road and there's going to be things that they're going to be expecting and dating. Guys, they just don't know. Most people don't build houses, 2-3 houses a year. Most people build maybe 2 or 3 of them in a lifetime. And building a house, man, for the most part, for that, it's a service, but it's an experience that you go through. So you got to give them the best experience that you possibly can. I mean, sometimes you fail, sometimes, you're not going to be perfect. And remember this. You're not trying to make that customer happy, guys. So a lot of builders get that twisted up. They get hurt because, at some point in time you run into issues during the building process and you feel some kind of way because you're not making that customer happy. They don't seem to be happy. I got a guy right now, man. It doesn't matter what I do. It's never enough. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But your job is not to make them happy. Your job is to make sure that you build that structure, that home. You need to build it within budget. Now, if they go over, that's on them. They pick allowances and things like that that's higher than their budgeted allowance. That's on them. But for what you're doing, you got to build that thing within budget. That's what you need to focus on. You have to make sure the quality is there. You got to make sure it's code compliant, guys. If you're building a structure and it's just meet minimum code according to the International Residential Code book, I mean, that's not saying a lot, guys. I always try to go, above and beyond code. At least 20% above code. I mean, if I can do it, I'm gonna go maybe 80%, but at least 20% above code. And then you got to try to get it done in time. That's why another thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you manage the expectation on the time. Guys, you got to think about weather and stuff like that. typically on my side, guys, if I know it's going to take me if I know it's going to take me about 6 months to build a home, I'm probably going to tell them 8 months. I'm probably going to add 2 more months onto it, to give me some fluff, because I can't control weather. I can't control, things come up, man. Weather comes up. You just don't know what you're going to get into. I'm not God. I can't make these things happen. So that's one thing, guys. You got to prepare yourself, guys. I think a lot of builders have got to really prepare themselves. And guys, I don't know if builders. I don't know if customers. In most cases, I don't think customers. In a lot of cases, customers don't know if a builder is really doing a good job. They really don't know. And the reason I say that is because the things that's really critical on a house, the things that really makes builders stand out from other builders, it's not things that you actually see. It's not like the paint, the trim, and the bathroom and the tile and all those things. Those things are cosmetic things. What makes builders stand out from other builders, and that customer, if a customer knew, if they knew, they would know that you're doing a great job. But in most cases, they don't know. But what makes a builder stands out from another builder and doing a great job is what happens behind the walls. How was that structure framed? How was it insulated? Is it more energy efficient? Are all the cracks in the seals sealed up? Are you pulling in fresh air? It's things like that. Once you get it sealed, is it pulling in fresh air? Is it structurally sound? And guys, if you think that the inspectors in the local municipality is going to be the ones that catch all that stuff, you're mistaken. In most cases, they come in there. Now, some inspectors are really good, man. I met a couple of them over in Hoover that he did it right, man. He got those plans. He checked every floor joist, every ceiling joist, everything, and made sure it met the plans and the engineer design. He was out there a little over an hour checking all that stuff. So, but the things that the customer, that would make the customer appreciate what you're doing as a builder, it happens behind the walls, and they're not going to see that. They're not going to even pay attention to it. They're not going to even know, because that's why they hire you. Okay? So they don't really know whether or not you did a good job. That's why you don't want to your job is not to make them happy, because in a lot of cases, they're not going to know. Now, they can hire a home inspector. Like in the state of Alabama, you got to go take a test to be a home inspector. And those home inspectors, a lot of those guys have software, but a lot of those guys, in some cases, they may not understand the real world in construction. Now, you can hire a home inspector, which I suggest you as a homeowner. If you got a house that's being built, especially doing a frame inspection, hire a home inspector. Or hire a home inspector when the job is, maybe give it a 1-year warranty, maybe a month before your 1-year warranty with that builder is about to expire. Hire a home inspector. Now, the home inspector needs to be dealing with code compliant things instead of cosmetic things. In a lot of cases, sometimes you get these home inspectors, they focus more on cosmetic things. They don't, and that's what you got to separate from those home inspectors in most cases. But if something is code compliant, it is what it is. So that's one thing, guys. Another thing, guys, communication. Guys, I think you should be talking to those homeowners at least once every 2 weeks, man. You don't want things to fester in their mind. And guys, don't think if you have a problem, you're going to have a problem, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. If you have a homeowner and you're dealing with them for 6 to 7 months, you're gonna have a problem. Because it's just like a marriage, man. Anytime you engage with somebody for so long, 6, 7 months, you trying to make money, they trying to save money, and there's a constant going back and forth. You're gonna get crossed at some point in time. Building a house, a contractor is really like a marriage with the owners of that house. It's like another marriage. I explain that to my customers. We're married for at least 2 years, and you know you're gonna run into problems, guys. And let me tell you something about those problems. They don't go away with time. As a contractors, if you're out here, you're doing this stuff, don't just think that if you don't talk to them, whatever problem that you guys had, it went away. Because it didn't go anywhere. Not in their mind. It didn't go away. Matter of fact, it's simmering in their head, and it's actually festering, and they looking around to find other problems, because in their mind, I'm spending my money here and you making money off of me, and my service should be like Chick-fil-A. I should get the best service. And they don't understand that it don't work like that. So, guys, problems don't go away with time. They just don't with that homeowner. Don't go away with time. That's why no matter what happens, man, you have to make sure you communicate. And, not just that email stuff. That email stuff, yeah, you can email. You got things that you need to let them know, But guys, you got to meet them on site. There has to be an interaction with that homeowner. So you got to make sure you do that, man. You got to interact and engage with that homeowner. I try to do at least every 2 weeks. I think I messed around. I was out of town, so I ended up going. This is my 3rd week, but we're gonna meet Sunday. Make sure you meet with that. Get in front of their face, man. Let them. You'll see if there's a problem. You can see. You can body language and things like that. You can see if you got a problem there. If you got a problem, hey man, what's going on? Let's get this, because all it's gonna do, if they don't get it out, all it's gonna do is while they're living in the house, they're gonna be looking for other problems, and they're gonna pick that. And guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, anybody can pick a house to death, man. I mean, house is over 300,000 parts. I promise you guys, I'm not perfect. I can't build a perfect house. Through my experience, I can kind of navigate and get some of the things that I know that's going to go wrong, and to go ahead and address it up front. But guys, I can't build them a perfect house. And because you can't build them a perfect house, if you guys have the communication is not there and they're living in it, they can find problems in that house. They can look for problems. As long as those problems, guys, are in builders, you're kind of okay as long as those problems are not structural. Cosmetic problems, things like that are and if there's a problem with the MEPs, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, always have those guys come out there and handle their stuff, But problems don't go away with time, guys. You got to communicate with these guys. You gotta find out what the issue is. In a lot of cases, in most cases, I'm gonna tell you guys, if you're dealing with a couple, a marriage, right? And men, I don't suggest you engage with the wife. I don't care how much they try to tell. This ain't the day and time for that, guys. If you're a male contractor, you need to be in communication with one. I pick one, and I usually pick that man if I can. But in some cases, I had a woman that actually built her house, and she was a single lady, and we were able to work through that thing. We didn't have any issues. That's very far and few between, but no, it's not with a single person, but it's usually when you have a couple. And let me explain a couple of things to you guys. One is that male contractors, engage with the man engage with him. That's the safest way to deal with this contracting thing. Just engage with him. Now, you're going to find out that if there's a problem and that man has a problem with you, in most cases, it's not coming from him. It's coming from his wife. In a lot of cases, she put pressure on him to put it on you. And something that she wants, or something she kind of irritated with, and she'll put that pressure on, she'll put that pressure on him, and he's gonna come back and put it on you. That's usually how it works. Or she got hurt or mad or something happened or whatever it is, or she wanted this right here, and I just want this like this right here, and the man's trying to make her happy, and it all just all so, and then she puts the pressure on him, and he's gonna come at you. That's fine, guys. That's fine. In a lot of cases, I'd say, hey man, I'll be the bad guy. I don't have no problem with being the bad guy, But if there's changes and things like that, guys, you got to make sure you do change orders. Now, I've noticed that a lot of people hate change orders, man. They and I'm gonna tell you something else too, man. Especially in my community, man. When I'm dealing with my people, they get a little frustrated and irritated when I run my business very business oriented, which means that anytime you want to make a change, we're gonna do a change order. We're gonna sign this change order. You can do it either way, based on the way I have my contract written out. We can do it two ways. You can sign this change order. You can pay me at the end, or you can pay me right now. But, it needs to be paid before I sign that lien waiver to the bank, if you're dealing with a bank. So, but when you're handling everything business, every time if they know that every time they engage with you or they want to upgrade, that you're going to do a change order, it kind of frustrates them a little bit. They get a little irritated. Well, man, you making all this money off of me, and you can't move this plug 2 inches to the left. This is the mindset that you're going to deal with, guys. But what they don't know is that anytime you make a change order, there's a lot of moving pieces on that one little. It could be just moving a plug from the left, 2 inches to the left. You got to deal with the sheetrock guy. You got to get your electrician to come back out there. You got to get your painters to come back out there. You may have to get your trim carpenters to come back out there. It's a lot of moving pieces, and they don't get it. The only thing they see is that one little plug. So guys, you got to make, and then if you don't calculate that out, and that's why, guys, when I'm dealing with homeowners and I'm talking about change orders, I don't just quote them numbers while I'm talking to them. I would tell them, let me write it up, and that way I have time to sit down in front of my software and see what's all involved, and then I can send it to them, and they can sign it. They sign it. They don't want to sign it. It is what it is. But a lot of time you get some of these customers, they get a little fluttered, man, when you strictly dealing with business, the business way. Let me see what else I got. I think that may be it, guys. And so I think what I did was I started with one, and I kind of pulled the rest of them in there. I had like 4 different points. I put all these points in here, guys. But this is what you have, guys. When you're dealing with customers, it is tough, guys. It's a tough game dealing with customers. And like I said, guys, you're not here to try to make these guys happy and make them feel good. You're here to build that thing on time and budget and make sure it's code compliant, make sure the quality is there. If you get, in communication, guys, I can't emphasize how much communication. Now, I do think, this is my opinion, and this is what I'm trying to work on. I think that the builder, the guy that runs the company, needs to have blankets of people before you can get to him. I think that's the way it should be. I think most successful builders here in Birmingham, in the Birmingham area, that's what they do. You have a superintendent. Superintendent goes out and do the job. He's the guy on the field. He engages with the homeowners. The builder is probably at home. Well, not at home, but he's at the office or whatever, making sure budgets and things like that is correct. Make sure the company things. I mean, you can still have people in the office that do that, which I would eventually try to train somebody to do that as well. But I don't think, guys, because if you are the builder and you're engaging with that homeowner, I mean, at some point in time, you guys are going to disagree. Like I said, you got 300,000 parts on this structure. You're gonna and in a lot of cases, these homeowners, they just don't know, guys. And builders, don't get upset. Oh man, these homeowners, they just don't get it. Look, man, they just don't understand. So it's your job as the builder to try to explain that to them and get them to understand. Now we get into my community. It's really tough, especially, so if I talk about African-American male contractors, guys, you're gonna have it hard. I'm just gonna, and it's not that, it's not that you're having it hard because if you're a good African-American male builder, you're not going to have it hard because you're not a good contractor. You're going to have it hard because of the perception of black men in this country right now, especially when it comes to construction. We just have guys, it is what it is, and don't take it the wrong way. You just have to exemplify good work ethics with your company. You got to double down and be the best. Now I can say once you get beyond that, guys, if you're African-American contractor and you get beyond that mindset, you'll find out that people will exemplify you as a builder even higher than anybody else. But it's tough. It's tough because of the perception of African-American men. You know, even dealing with each other, man. I can have a black family and they're gonna probe me to death. Nothing wrong with it, man. The only thing I have to do is just keep doing what I'm doing. You just keep doing what you're doing a great job, and it's okay, guys. I'm gonna tell you something else, man. It's okay to not have an answer when you're dealing with your customers. It's okay to be like, hey, let me look into that. It's okay to say that. You don't have to have an answer for everything. It's okay to say, let me get back with you on that right there. And you also have to be careful too. What I have to be careful. Sometimes you have too many answers for just about everything until the customers think, you get customers that think you some kind of a god. Well, how did you not know that? You should have knew that. I mean, you know everything else. So there has to be a balance with that, guys. Once again, guys, like, share, subscribe. And I just wanted to get on here and just talk about just engaging and dealing with customers, man. It's a tough job, man. But you got to persevere, man. You gotta work through it. You got to communicate. And you got to get that job to the end so you can finish. Like, share, subscribe. You guys have a good one.